Hey my dudes, Raven of Ash here. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about invasions on the Dark Souls Remastered game. To put it bluntly, invasions on Dark Souls Remastered are not very fun, in my opinion. Well, let me be more precise. Invasions against multiple opponents are not very fun, as some of the more interesting invasions I had were against single players. Also, I don't want to offend anyone with this video. These are just my opinions, and I'm glad that other people find invading in the remaster fun. It's just not for me. I know it isn't common for a Soulsborne uploader to rant about a game of this series, and I don't see uploaders making videos about this, so maybe I am in the wrong. However, I would not be honest to my subscribers if I didn't make this video. I know some hate will be coming my way with this one, but such is life. I also invaded mainly in Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne, and, until the remaster, had never played Dark Souls. This is both good and bad. It's good because I don't look at the game with the rose-tinted glasses of nostalgia, but also bad because people that played this game years ago have gotten themselves accustomed to its peculiarities, I guess. So they knew what to expect. Also, don't take this rant as an indication that I can't win invasions in the remaster. I can assure you that is not the case. The thing is, winning invasions in this game doesn't give me a big sense of achievement. I didn't really feel I earned it. There's not a lot of strategic depth in multiple player invasions in this game in my opinion. You engage, you win, you lose, that's it. Also, there will be some spoilers in this video. I am assuming that you are an invader, as that's what I do in this channel. So I will assume that you know at least the basics of the game. But before I go about the negative stuff, I would like to highlight the positives of the game for me. I really like duels. This game feels really well when dueling, and 1v1s were some of the best invasions I had. The speed or lack thereof when compared with Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne, the backstab mechanic and even Poise works relatively well in 1v1s. Do a mistake and you will get punished. That's good in my opinion. No spamming roll when you make a mistake. No chugging in your opponent's faces unpunished. It adds a layer of strategy that I feel Dark Souls 3 and even Bloodborne lacks, as healing is very fast on those games. In Dark Souls, play sloppy and you shall get punished, as you should. Other thing that I like is the fact that everyone can use pyromancy, as it only scales with the level of your pyromancy flame. Everyone can be a caster, and because I don't feel pyros are broken in this game, I really liked it. It gives some variety to the game. Other thing is that you can backstab people going through fog doors. I don't know why that wasn't a feature in Dark Souls 3. It's really good to know that hosts cannot just go through the fog door in your face. Now let me get straight to the point and tell you why I think Dark Souls invasions are not for me. Spawn points. This game has fixed spawn points. This means that these spawning spots can be abused by opposing players. This is exactly what some of them do. This group was doing this for a while. I managed to escape once and watched them stunlock invaders to death for a while. That people can be assholes, I have no doubt. It falls on the devs to not make this possible. Other problem with spawn points is their location, which is sometimes just absurd. For example, in the Painted World, the first spawn point is on the bridge. The bridge is broken and you can be thrown off the edge. You cannot go around an opposing player, as its character model blocks you. This place is so abusable it's not even funny. The second spawning place in the Painted World that I know of is on the top of the spiral. I gotta admit, this is one of the coolest looking spawning places on the Dark Souls franchise. It's also one of the dumbest. How do you evade your opponents if they happen to be going up the stairs? What choices this spawning spot gives you? That's right, not a lot, unless you have one or two select spells that allow you to kill your opponents very fast. Balance, or lack thereof. Shields have a ton of stability. Good luck guard breaking an opponent with your weapon. If you attempt it, good luck not being setup parried or shield backstabbed. Also, kicks don't deal near enough stamina damage to shields. When you finally manage to guard break an opponent, you won't get a riposte, but an instability hit that does not compensate the risk in most cases. Also, breaking an opponent's shield takes time. When against multiple players, all turtling and strafing to go for a backstab, it gets old very fast. It's no wonder all invasion builds have to have a way to break through shields. Black Flame, Shotel, Poison or Bleed weapons, Dark Bead among others, are all ways to bypass shields. Proceed without any of these tools at your own risk. Spells. Who the hell thought that Dark Bead, Wog or Twop were balanced spells need more tobacco than what they were smoking? This might be going a bit too far, as Wog is not too unbalanced. You only have 3 casts if you only got the new game version of the spell, and in most instances it can be avoided, even in a lot of scenarios, against multiple players. However, combo it with WOP and this is just bullshit. And yes, you can use Great Magic Barrier or Vow of Silence, but is it reasonable to have to do a Fate heavy build just because these spells are broken? Besides this, TWAP and Dark Bead need a much smaller point investment than the anti-spell stuff. What the hell? Anyway, the way that spells are in this game, maybe you should attune the anti-spell stuff as an insurance policy. And now that we are talking about insurance policies, I've seen comments on social media about using the OP stuff just for ganks. When people use broken stuff just as insurance policy against broken stuff, what does that say about the game? Anyway, about Dark Bead, do you know how much intelligence you need to use the spell? 16. Do you know how low level you need to be if you start with a sorcerer to wield this spell? So level 4. Yeah, that's right. Get your buddies to carry you to the DLC to get the spell, get him to drop you the Crown of Dusk and Bellwing Dragon Caressed Ring, and just one-shot everybody at low levels. Fun, right? Also, if it was a spell like Crystal Soul Spear that sends one projectile, but no. It's 7 projectiles at a 90-degree angle and 6 casts. If there's lag, you will be hit before the animation reaches you, and the damage is so high that it can one-shot you a lot of times. It's like if Fahrenhail could one-shot you in Dark Souls 3 at soul level 4. Some really experienced players have stated that you should never get hit by Dark Bead. Well, try doing that against a team with 2 mages and surviving reliably. And even if you miss your roll or attack, should you be one-shot by it? What a shit show of a spell. Backstabs. Backstabs in this game are a single confirmed system. What you are looking at your own screen is what counts. Even if in your opponent's screen you are facing the other way or you are 10 feet back. Add lag to this and the experience can become painful. Add 3 or 4 opposing players and it just becomes ridiculous. This makes disengaging from a party absurdly difficult. In most scenarios, retreat is not an option against a team of 3 or 4. Also, get backstab against a party once and you are almost as good as dead, as they will stun lock you on wake up. Again, I'm not against this system on 1v1s. I feel it enriches the experience. Against multiple players, however, not so much. Allowing for 4-man parties. Who the hell thought this was a good idea in a PvP environment where Dark Souls mechanics didn't invade a lot? Of course they didn't. This brilliant idea was to cater to the poor co-opers that just wanted to play with their friends without rebalancing the game for invasions. Also, when the original game launched, there were no password summons, so you summoned whoever you could find and only people of similar level. Not your Dark Bead using friend, your ninja flipping soul level 300 Havel mom, and your Ouroboros R1 clone cosplay friend to play through the Undead Burg with your new character. Also, online connectivity sucked, so you were lucky to summon 1 dude, let alone 2, according to some players that played the original Dark Souls. But now you can have all of that and engage in jolly cooperation with the dried finger on. Solution to this issue? Block them. Seriously, that's the solution that I've seen posted on Reddit or YouTube comments. In-game solution? Black crystal out if not spawn killed. You will save yourself a lot of grief. Yeah, in my opinion, Dark Souls was not designed for multiple opponent fights. Saint Riot said something a while ago that resonated with me. He said that Dark Souls 3 PvP balance was designed around invasions and not dueling. To this I add that invasions on Dark Souls 3 were thought with more than 2 players in mind. The way the levels were designed also reflects this idea. Dark Souls PvP seems much more oriented for single player duels, and those have been some of the more interesting invasions I had in this game, win or lose. This is weird for me as I usually don't like duels. One of the big reasons I feel this is like that is because it's very hard to disengage from opposing parties, because it's so easy to backstab someone. A lot of this derives of the fact that you cannot trust your opponent model distance to know if you are safe running away from a backstab punish because of the single confirmed backstab system. In your screen he is far, in his screen you are near. You run, you get sucked into the backstab. When you get up, 9 times out of 10 you are dead. If you engage several guys at a time, especially if medium rolling, you are committed. No guerrilla tactics allowed. Not going through the level with your opponents. No backing off to heal in a lot of scenarios. And don't even think of outlasting your opponents or counting the restes. It's kill or be killed in a matter of seconds. This takes me to another issue. Burst damage. Estus is very easy to punish, and that works very well in a single opponent scenario, and I like it. You have to think carefully about when to heal. Chuck carelessly and you will be backstabbed with ease. In a multiple player scenario, however, and because you cannot reliably back off in a lot of situations because of backstabs, you have to drop the opposing party fast, like one-shot backstab fast. or Wrath of the Gods spam, or Dark Bead, or Parry Hornet Ring Repose, etc. If you give them the chance to heal, you are dead, because they can keep you occupied while they heal, while you can't because you can't disengage. That's why Invader builds are full of one-shot atomic bombs, like Wog, Dark Bead, Chaos, Hornet Ring, Rapiers, true combos with the potential to one-shot, etc. Burst damage becomes almost always the way to go for killing multiple opponents, and that makes the game a bit dull in my opinion, even if I win. Passive Poise. Other thing that irks me is the Poise system. I'm sorry, but passive Poise is bullshit. In Dark Souls you get Poise from your armor, irrespective of your weapon. Stack Poise, get a fast weapon such as the Gold Tracer of Falcon, press R1 and become the meme and win against the majority of players. Can you counter it? Sure. Is it as easy or risk-free as for him to press R1? Nope. Is it fun to play against this? Not for me. Dark Souls 3 had, in my opinion, a much better, albeit a more complex Poise system, especially after the Poise patch. Poise was linked to your weapon in your armor or item Poise, and was only useful when trading, as Poise only worked on your weapon attack frames. Fast weapons didn't have hyper armor on their swings. It was a trade-off of, well, them being fast. You can get your hits in with a fast weapon, but you needed to respect greater weapons and had to hit around them. Get hit with an ultra and your opponent could kill you in 3 or 4 hits, of which 2 were guaranteed. This made big weapons much more viable. Also, don't count on turn and burns to halt your opponent's momentum and allow you to disengage. If they are running after you and have Poise, you can turn and burn and they will shrug it off and just go for the backstab. Also, this passive Poise system allows for Poise backstabs, which are hilarious, in a broken sense. Get Poise, get hit while locked strafing, backstab, rinse and repeat. Infinite stun locks and toggle escaping. Okay, I can see why there might be infinite stun lock with this Y-hander. Big weapons are bad in this game, and for ultras, it is more or less understandable. Dumb but understandable. But infinite stun lock on a Shotel R2, or a Halberd R1? Come on. Where's the sense in that? Sure, toggle escape, but come on, against a 3-man team get stun lock once, and while toggling escape you are being destroyed by the other dudes. Where's the sense in that? Big weapons are awfully bad. Most competent players in the remaster play with fast weapons. It's a win-win situation for them. This is because fast weapons weight less than ultras, so you can Poise stack with greater ease, and ultras are hilariously easy to backstab or punish in any other way. This happens much more than in Dark Souls 3, where you can do more mix-ups with the weapon arts and have more diverse movesets, and backstabs were harder to pull off due to the double confirm system. So punishing ultras, while far from impossible or even difficult, was much harder. The strengths of ultras in Dark Souls are the infinite stun lock and the fact that they can do big damage on a critical. Don't swing them a lot though, you will be dead fast. Besides this, shields block a ton of hits from ultras without guard breaking, and you can set up parry them even when ultras are two-handed, which was something impossible in Dark Souls 3, and I've seen people reaction parry them. Even if you get hit, learn to toggle escape and the fight becomes in a lot of scenarios a joke, so use ultras at your own risk. The build. Dark Souls are action RPGs, so builds have always been important. However, in Dark Souls 3 or Bloodborne, excluding the imbalances of the gem system in the latter one, you could invade with almost any weapon and with a good amount of invasions if you knew what you were doing. This is true in the remaster as well, but to a much lesser extent. You better optimize the shit out of your build in this one if you want to win consistently in a multiple opponent scenario. This includes playing only with a relatively small number of weapons and relying a lot on a select number of spells. And that's not very fun in my opinion. I see very little weapon and spell diversity in the invasions I have done, and that's a pity. The overpowered spells. I've talked about the more cancerous ones, but spells at large are super strong. Overpowered spells mean less melee weapon gameplay, and that's where Dark Souls shines in my opinion. Also, strong spells make for stronger ganks. 1 or 2 of them pin you down, 1 or 2 nuke you from a distance, same as in Dark Souls 3. Difference is, again, that you cannot disengage in this game as you will be backstabbed very quickly. Also, you don't even need a weapon to hit invasions. I've seen other invaders not even using weapons while invading, and not on glass cannon builds either, or force trolling dudes. Stack Poise and spam spells away as you won't be interrupted. It's the Havel Crown of Dusk Mage's build archetype. Gestures. It's unbelievable that gestures are not cancelable. In Bloodborne they were not cancelable either, but the big punishment of gestures was harder, as it was hard to backstab in Bloodborne. In DSR, do a gesture, get backstabbed. I don't know why is this better for anyone, as gestures are a multiplayer thing, and I ended up never using them. Disconnects. This is a gripe I have with all Dark Souls games, but they did it again. No punishment that I know of for disconnects, and the amount of disconnects has been unreal even by Dark Souls 3 standards. Around 10% of more of disconnects in my experience. At least in Dark Souls 3 you could lose online connectivity even if that system didn't function properly. As far as I know, you don't even have a theoretical penalty on this one. Other thing that I've noticed is getting hit before the animation and phantom hitboxes. This gives me conniptions. In Dark Souls 3 you generally can trust the animations. On this one you can be hit a fraction of a second too soon, messing up your roll, blocking or parrying timing. I Am Amish made a reference to this on his preliminary thoughts on Dark Souls 1 video. Because this game is so punishing, getting hit like this means in a lot of times the difference between life and death. I also have noticed that some weapons have very weird hitboxes. The Gravelord Sword R2, for example, has the weirdest hitboxes I've ever seen on a Souls game. And that's basically it. I have some more gripes with the game, but this video is already too long. Nif has stated in his last video that PvP in the Dark Souls series has always been broken, and that the PvP is not to be taken seriously. And I agree to some extent. But there is broken and there is broken, and I think it's not fair to compare how broken invasions are in this game compared to Dark Souls 3, and Dark Souls 3 had its own set of problems, namely the resummoner issue. I think the question every one of us needs to answer is how broken you accept the game to be and still play it. This goes over the line for me, and in 2018 I find it incomprehensible that some of these issues were not ironed out, or seemingly thought out at all before releasing the remaster. This is a pity, as I consider this game to be a PvE masterpiece and had potential for brilliant multiple opponent PvP, but in my opinion it's just not there, as the devs decided there was no balancing changes needed to be made. If anything, the game is worse than in the original game, as multiple player parties are now much more prevalent and I feel the game was not meant for that scenario. I really had high expectations for invading in this game, but I think I will pass on this one. I am saddened by how the game plays right now. I will wait for a rebalancing patch on this one. It's not coming. From what I've seen, a lot of people are already putting the game down, and it's a pity. I think that Dark Souls deserved better. I don't see a lot of future in invading in this game. Well, except for meme videos. There are so damn many meme videos coming out on this game. On a final note, I would like to send a shout out to Saint Riot for the Velkus Hunter video. Winning without OP stuff and doing a really fun build is really hard on this game, so a lot of kudos for that one. Well, that's it, my dudes. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'm sorry for the rant. I just had to take this out of my system. I would also like to hear what you think about the game, and if you think what I'm saying is bullshit, I would like to hear your reasons. Have fun, guys, and I'll see you next time. Raven out.